I'm Tracy Koga with something short and fun. This is a Hugh Soundbite. I want to give a very warm Winnipeg welcome, although, Jeffrey, it's snowing today in Winnipeg. But anyways, a warm Winnipeg welcome to you, Jeffery Straker. COVID has not been one iota of a difference for you. It sounds like you've been busy making music. Making music.
Making music and music, making all
Yeah.
of it. So first of all, you can hopefully keep your snow in Winnipeg. It's a cool day here in Regina. I think we're supposed to warm up to like about 7 or something. So spring's coming. I'm being optimistic here, so that's good. But you're right. I have been really busy. I've been releasing a whole bunch of singles off what will soon to be a full album that I'm going to release, and planning an online tour, because that's what COVID lets us do these days, is go touring online. So here we are.
Well, and I take it too, your lovely living room in Regina is now converted to a wonderful recording studio. So, and it's not sort of unlike where I am too. I've converted my basement into a small little TV studio, so I can still connect and spread the word on what all of these Canadian artists are doing. I guess let's start with you, how this has all unfolded. And I know it, I guess, really starts with a tragedy, and I'm really sorry to hear about the loss of your mother. So that's, I think, when...
This new album did really sort of, a lot of it came from, sadly, from the loss of Mom. She passed away really suddenly and really unexpectedly, with sort of no advance warning, if you will, 2 years and 3 months ago. And when you lose someone that close, I mean, I'm able to finally talk about it without bawling my head off. But when because I've had a lot of time to process this. But when you lose someone that close, people who have lost someone that close will know you're thrown into a lot of, like, the grieving process throws you into quite a turmoil. And you look at your own, like, you look at, of course, all the memories you have with that person, but then you also, part of that is looking at your own self, and you look at sort of like where you've come from and where you're headed, because you're really hit with this real poignant sort of notion of mortality. Not to get too profound about it, but you really are. And you go through the questioning and the grieving, and you have some sort of revelations and reach some sort of resolution. And luckily for me, I came out of all that process I landed on gratitude. I landed on the notion of being really thankful for the person that I had for the time that I had her, because she was a wonderful, wonderful mom. And that has sort of informed this recording, like all the songs on it,
Yeah. Well, and you know what? And everybody's journey is so different. And I just want to say that I am so happy personally that it has been a positive one for you, because I know that, for some people it isn't a positive journey. And like you said, you kind of have to look at it as a blessing, as something, a gift, to have known her, for her to love you and share, her life experiences with you. And so I know this has inspired your work. How is this album different than some of your rest or previous works?
It for sure, it's more personal. Like a lot of my past records, and even before Mom passed away, there was an evolution in my songwriting to go from having the lens be pointed outwards, and I was often writing about other characters and other people and places, and being an observer and a chronicler. And over time, probably because we're all getting older, aren't we, the lens has turned inwards, and I've been a lot more introspective and sort of chronicling inner things. And so what happened with the passing of Mom on this recording is, by and large, the songs are just far more personal, because she was like her passing was almost like this catalyst to dig deeper. And I've always wanted to dig deeper, and I've been trying to dig deeper, and I've been going deeper. But with her being gone, it just made me sort of almost fall deeper. And as a result, the songs are just a lot more personal, and I like I like the past songs I wrote in the past that were like, observing other people, and they went over really well with audiences at shows. But I really hope, and I feel, these ones will also be received well. Just like they also chronicle, just they're pointed in a different way,
Well, and I'll ask you this then. Interesting, because and I kind of remember your songs. You're like that, like called you like a troubadour, a traveling man that would tell these stories, and that does relate so well to a live audience. We're going to be talking now about your virtual tour, which I know a lot of artists are doing. Will this record be probably mean more because you are virtual, because it's just you, you're not in front of a live audience, and you have that chance to be really personal? I think could be very powerful virtually.
I hope so. I mean, um, it is the whole this whole doing shows online when there's no one in the room is a really tricky sort of hurdle for for people who make their living as a live performing musician, because that performance is not one dimensional from the stage into sort of an abyss. There's an exchange of energy, as you would know, versus like having someone in your studio versus doing these things over a camera. I mean, there's an exchange of energy that happens there when there's an audience. Now with no audience, you literally are sort of left with putting something out there. And to your point, I actually never really thought of this until you said it, but that's a really neat observation, that these songs are coming from such a deeper place. It probably will help them um, transport through this virtual sort of means. That I mean, now you're going to make me watch for it when I'm doing this. No, it's a really interesting point. I hope that does happen, because they are coming from a much deeper place.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard to do because I know too, or whatever. If you're doing a live show, you get that energy, I know, off the audience, and that sort of is your adrenaline, right, to move and to be even more energetic. Let's talk now the whole process about the virtual tour, and of course you're going to be coming to Winnipeg, I believe May 12th, at the
That's
West
right.
End Cultural Center. So how is that all going to work, Jeffrey?
Well, so the stage is actually in Regina, and so the performance happens in Regina, and then I've partnered with 6 venues across the country to sort of go on this virtual tour, and it starts on April 30th in Calgary with the Calgary Folk Club, winds its way across the country, and the Manitoba stop, if you will, is a partnership with the West End Cultural Center, where I've performed in the past live on their great grand piano. And so, they're promoting the show, or to their audience and their listeners. I'm promoting the show to my Winnipeg followers. And hopefully, what that does is it allows their listeners, my listeners, to sort of maintain some sort of community around music, even though it's hard to gather around music in this online sense. So the stream will happen to people's computers in their homes, but the stage will be in Regina. And I have these 6 dates across the country. In reality, anybody can get a ticket to any date, but we're encouraging people in Winnipeg to check out the Winnipeg evening, because a portion of the proceeds do go to the West End Cultural Center.
Yes, and that's another point too, right? All of these incredible venues with no live music. It is so sad. And I mean, yes, we're kind of looking at our probably 3rd lockdown, but the music venues have all been closed anyways throughout this. Jeffrey, and we will see light at the end of the tunnel. Where do you think your first show will be? What will it look like live?
Once the pandemic's done, you know what's really odd? I've actually not even thought of this, because I'm in that. I mean, well, here's the thing. After I do this virtual tour in May, this summer I do have live shows booked. I've actually got 40 of them booked, but they're in backyards. So what people have leaned forward and they've crossed their fingers and thought, okay, we'll probably be able to have gatherings of 30 outdoors this summer. So a lot of my fans from my social media pages have reached out to me, and it's over 40 now have booked these backyard shows. So my first shows are going to be in backyards, and people have reached out to me right from the Okanagan to the eastern townships of Quebec. So, touch wood, we can travel. If not, there's a whole heap of them in Saskatchewan if we can't go anywhere. So I've sort of hedged, sort of protected all the options. But those will be the first shows, and then really, hopefully by the fall, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but at least it's my hope that some smaller audiences will be allowed in venues, and then hopefully by December, I know a lot of larger venues in Canada are now booking big shows for December.
Really? Have you been Have you been vaccinated yet?
This is the sad story. My vaccination day was yesterday, and they ran out of vaccine.
Oh, are you serious? Oh my
So
goodness.
I have to wait. I have to wait for 2 weeks now.
No. Oh
Are
my
you
goodness.
vaccinated?
Not yet, but they've lowered it. Yeah, they've lowered it to 40, right? In Saskatchewan too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. So I'm booking and might just go and get it. Instead of going to
Get
the
her
super
done.
site. I don't know. We've been having this whole big conversation. Vaccines, music. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but anyways, you are going to play us a song. So,
Yeah.
what will it be?
I'm gonna play you a song. It's the waltz off my record. It's called "Play That Song Again," and it's a really the reason I'll play this one is it's quite a reflective song, and to me, it sort of captures the spirit of the rest of the record. It looks back and it sort of takes stock, um, but and sort of examines the past, but it lands on an optimistic note and is happy to be happy to have taken that glance to the past and is content where it ends up.
Oh, well, how beautiful. What a great ending. It's so good to see you again, Jeffrey. And everybody, check out his concerts online. He's going to be at the West End Cultural Center May 12th.
Every now and then, I look at your picture in a frame. You're the one I got drunk on and kept drinking anyway. You turned down my senses like some old radio tuned them in. You helped me let them go. Held on for all I was worth and I let go again. I've tried to remember and I've tried to forget. You let me lost in my own body, from my head down to my toes. Play that song again, show me how it goes. You took me prisoner, left me on death row. The voice in my head saying I told you so. And I'm in my mother's arms, great more. Play that song again, show me how it goes. Yeah, play that song again, show me how it goes. I pray to the heavens while digging a grave, and I filled it with pieces of promises I made. Oh, grown man crying for crying out loud. Fought with myself, but I stood my ground. Thought about making a change and starting all brand new. I moved the furniture round and round in my living room. Oh, how to mend the broken, no one really knows. Play that song again, show me how it goes. I can still hear your voice and it's speaking to me. We're dancing round and round in the honesty. I remember the music the first time, so soft and slow. Play that song again, show me how it goes. Yeah, play that song again, show me how it goes. Yeah, yeah, play that show me how we go.